I won't go into the fact that this Documento Nacional de Identidad is given to us by blokes with guns. That could be another road we could go down. But I would like to point out, as another example of Spanish obsession with identity, everything in Spain seems to be español. Our friend, our colleague here, Nito, just mentioned Renfe, Red Española Nacional de Ferrocarriles. Española. This high-speed train, it's called TGV, Train de Grande Vitesse in France. In Germany, I can't remember what it's called, but the word Deutschland doesn't even appear there. In Spain, it's called AVE, Alta Velocidad Española, high Spanish speed. Considering the fact it's taken about 20-something years to get to Barcelona, I wouldn't call that high speed. So honestly, I think it's the Spanish who have an obsession with identity. You go to Madrid, there's a place called Plaza Colón, you can see a huge Spanish flag, the size of a tennis courtyard, flying. Is that necessary? I mean, and who paid for that? The essence of it, from my point of view, is that Spain's been treating us like shit for 300 years. And now, it's not a question of if Spain is treating us better now, if things are getting better. That's not the question anymore. I mean, let's put another bad example if you want. Imagine a woman who's been physically, psychologically, sexually abused for 3 years by a husband. Do you think it would matter at all if for the last 2 or 3 months the husband's been relatively nice? Do you think she would care at all? The fact that she hasn't been sent to hospital for the last 3 or 4 months? Now some of you might think it's exaggerated, but as our colleague here said, it's very difficult to understand what it is to be nationally oppressed if you never have been. So I'm just trying to show you parallel pictures so you can try to get the feeling of it. So now it's not so much a question of we're mistreated or not. There's some of us who just want independence, and that's it, simply. We're not angry about it. We're not going to start a war for it. We're not even going to go out into the streets and throw stones at anyone. We're going to use democratic methods, and that means going to elections, winning elections, having a majority of the parliament, a government that declares independence, negotiating that independence with Spain within the European community, and eventually hold a referendum and hopefully win it. That is our dream, that is a hope, and it's basically our right as human beings. Right. There's been some talk here about forcing people to use and learn Catalan. I have a document here. It's just a summary, it's just a list of 500 laws, Spanish laws, that impose the use of Spanish. Okay? Starting by the Constitution, which enforces the knowledge and obligation to use Spanish. Or there's things like, I don't know, some of them are pathetic. Pasta packets, packets of spaghetti have to be labeled in Spanish. That's the law in this country. Medicines have to be labeled in Spanish. There's about 6 or 7 laws that forbid the use of other language other than Spanish in the army, for example. I remember being in Quebec, and I saw the change of guard of the Canadian Army in Quebec. The orders were given in French, not in English. Here, the Spanish Army, if you're a soldier, you speak Catalan, you go to prison. That's how it is. Okay, I'll finish. I'll finish with just one last thing. There was also a lot of talk usually relating nationalism with ultra-right wing or fascism. No, I don't know about the theory. I'm not very good at theories. But I have studied history, and I do know that the only fascist parties and the only fascist regimes in this country have been violently anti-Catalan and extremely pro-Spanish. Thank you.